Welcome. Today we will be looking at some teaching techniques that can be used to teach geography standards of Southwest Asia. These standards ask students to locate specific physical and political features, explain the impact of environmental issues, including access to water. Also, students will describe how rivers and deserts influence trade and where people live. Students will analyze the diverse cultures of the Middle East, including a focus on religion and ethnic groups. Finally, we will touch on how the distribution of oil has affected the development of Southwest Asia. Some teaching strategies that can be incorporated into your lessons to teach these standards include map mnemonics, PBS Global Connections, a web resource, and minorityrights.org, another web resource. According to Merriam-Webster, mnemonic devices are things such as words, sentences, or songs that help people remember something. Middle school students are very concrete and often limited in their past experiences, so anything that we as teachers can do to assist students in remembering this new content would be helpful. So let's look at a few different ways that we can learn places on this map using mnemonics. For starters, let's look at the shape of Afghanistan. It looks like the shape of a fist with the thumb sticking out. This is helpful for students because they have heard their entire life about fighting in Afghanistan. Students can link the idea of a fist with Afghanistan. Iran is sort of shaped like a cat, a Persian cat. Let's see, the cat has ears and whiskers and even a bushy tail. This is not really helpful in remembering the name of the country, but the ethnic group that is mainly there, the Persians. While we're here, let's also notice that this Persian cat is sitting on the Persian Gulf. That should help you learn another place on the map. Although it is important for students to know that a strait is a narrow passage of water that connects two larger bodies of water, the real definition, however, students can remember where the Strait of Hormuz is in the Middle East because it is the water that isn't straight. It is the curved waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Sea. This irony makes it easy for the students to remember. In examining the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, the students will often mix them up. When looking at a map, a student can simply refer to ET as a way to get it correct. These students are too young to remember the movie, however, many have still heard of it, or they've heard of the term extraterrestrial. Other students have linked ET to the show on TV, Entertainment Tonight. Another easy idea to have students link Saudi Arabia to the Arabian Peninsula, not a specific standard, but easy to identify, and the Arabian Sea. The word Arab should also be a hint for many things. Saudi Arabia, Arabian Sea, the Arab ethnic group. Although Pakistan is not one of the countries that students are asked to identify this year, it is one country that is easy to identify on any map. It is the profile of an animal. Some people see a dinosaur while others see a seahorse. Whatever animal that the person sees is not important, so long as they can pick out the shape of the country. Many animal groups travel in packs, therefore Pakistan. It is even wearing a backpack, Afghanistan. It is important to point out that all of the stands are together. Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and so on. These are the stands. Once students can find the stands, they can create a mnemonic to remember all of the countries. Here is an example. Stan ran through Iraq to get turkey to eat with Syria and Israel and Saudi Arabia. They could not wait to have a great time. If you point to each word as you're saying it, it'll help you remember it. Let's see. Stan ran through Iraq to get turkey to eat with Syria and Israel in Saudi Arabia. They could not wait to have a good time. This sentence may sound absolutely ridiculous. However, after saying this sentence or something similar that you create, students can get pretty good at it. The idea here is to show students tips for learning materials. It doesn't identify every country, but it is a simple way to learn. Another strange mnemonic that shows students 2 more countries that they're not required to learn based on the standards. However, learning extra countries may be useful for more advanced classes. To remember Yemen and Oman, just think, yo man, it'll stick longer than you think. These are some examples of mnemonics that could be used to help students master the identification standards. Encourage your students to create their own mnemonics. This skill can be transferred to many areas of a student's life. Knowing how to study a set of information is a valuable skill as students progress through school. One resource that is very valuable when teaching this part of the world was put together by PBS. It's called Global Connections. Let's start by finding PBS Global Connections. Here you can see there is some information about Liberia, but we're going to focus on the section about the Middle East. Here you can find lots of information, including a timeline, explore a theme, and connecting questions. We are going to start with the timeline. There's 2 versions. The earliest parts of the timeline, let's go to pre-1900s, actually starts with the birth of Abraham. This will take you through the early parts of the religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This information can be helpful in teaching the religion standards. The newer parts of the timeline go all the way to 2002. Therefore, you are going to have information about several of the U.S. involved events in the Middle East. Let's go back to the top and then click on Explore a Theme. Let's look at the resources under Explore a Theme. There are links here to several general topics, including politics, religion, science and technology, culture, and economics. Let's start with politics. This link provides you with information about the government and politics, including videos about Iran and Iraq. I wanted to take a moment to show you this so that you are aware of it when planning your study on Middle East government. We also can look at the title, Religion. This is very helpful in the group of standards that we're talking about today. This page provides a good read with detailed information about Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This reading can be used as a set for students, although it may be overwhelming for struggling readers. There are also videos embedded throughout this page. At the bottom of this page, you can also find a list of links to other sites. There's almost more information than you can deal with here. Let's go back to Explore a Theme, and let's look at culture this time. Here, there is information about religion and ethnic groups in the Middle East. Some pictures and videos are worthy of sharing in class. Once again, there are links at the bottom of this reading. Once again, let's go back to our Explore a Theme, and let's look at geography and economics. These are areas that can be helpful in other teaching areas as you're planning your Middle East units. Let's now take a moment to look at our connecting questions. Here, there are some more useful links. The area on U.S. foreign policy can be helpful in the history standards in Southwest Asia. The natural resources link will be helpful reading on water and oil in the Middle East. It does a nice history of oil and water and how it relates to conflict and economies. Hopefully this site can be very helpful to you as you plan your units. Another web resource I would like to point out to you is MinorityRights.Org. Minority Rights Group International is a non-governmental organization, an NGO, based out of the UK. This group works with, quote, 130 partners in over 60 countries to ensure that disadvantaged minorities and indigenous peoples, often the poorest of the poor, can make their voices heard. This activity will ask students to go to a deeper understanding of religion and ethnic groups in the Middle East. This will ask students to analyze past a simple list of characteristics of ethnic groups and religious groups. This may be an extension activity that can be used as contract work for gifted students, in an advanced content class, or with teacher assistance for all students. The basic premise is to look at different ethnic groups and religious groups and see when they might be repressed and where they live in those places. Let's look at their website. On the MinorityRights.Org website, there are several different things to point out. One is the People Under Threat map. This map shows you where there are different ethnic and religious groups that are being threatened by the places that they live. The darker the color, the more risk they are. Notice that there are large portions of North and South America that there's very low risk, as well as Europe. But many parts of Africa, the Middle East, and even into Asia, these ethnic groups and religious groups do face risks based on where they live. Back at the home page, I want to point out to you the search option. If you type an ethnic or religious group here, let's choose Kurds, then it will take you to results of places that the Kurds are mentioned on their website and places that they may be a minority and may face issues. Let's focus here on the fact that they are a minority in Turkey. So if we go to this page, it will tell us lots of information about their lives in Turkey and the actions that they've taken within the country. If you'll notice, when you search Kurds, they're going to show up as an ethnic minority in several different countries and have faced issues in lots of different places. The idea here is to ask students to pick an ethnic group or religious group, see if they are a minority in one of the countries and what challenges they have faced in those countries because of the fact that they're a minority. Students will be surprised that even Christians are a minority in some places and that they do face challenges. Hopefully this is a place where you can come and let your students explore and dig. Do know that there is some disturbing information because of the challenges that these ethnic and religious groups have faced. As we conclude, remember to include a variety of activities in your unit to meet different learning styles and needs. Feel free to use or modify these activities to meet your teaching style and students. Good luck to you as you plan your upcoming unit on Southwest Asia.